right, so obviously the truck is not going to start for us tonight. So anyway, guys, what's going on? Welcome back. If you guys are new here, if you guys are just stopping by for the first time, because we are doing a Peterbilt video, this is going to be one of many to come as we are going to be rebuilding this truck. So make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, join the crazy journey we have building the pickup trucks. This is going to be a big kind of adventure, jumping into the heavy duty side, rebuilding this Peterbilt. We're going to go through this thing top to bottom. But anyway, let me give you guys, for those of you guys who have been around for a little while, you guys know that I mentioned a little while ago that we were looking for a Peterbilt project. We have been in the search nonstop ever since. It's been like maybe a month or so, and this is the truck. This is the truck for a lot of different reasons. There's a couple negatives, a couple downsides to this truck, but they all are going to be touched, rebuilt, and changed over and make this thing exactly what we are looking for. So let's just kind of go over a couple things. There's a couple key points. What were we looking for? What we ended up? What are our plans for this thing? And so on and so on. So this video is really just going to be me kind of, and look at, we got a brother in the background over here, so that's a pretty nice truck as well. But anyway, guys, we're just going to be kind of talking about this truck, going over some of the details. The lighting is going to be kind of because it's already 8:30 at night. I'm trying to get this thing started for you guys, but anyway, let's go over what we were looking for. So the biggest thing is when I started diving into these trucks, I really, we have a performance background. We like tinkering with engines, we like making a whole lot of horsepower. So when you kind of throw that into the equivalent, we really wanted a Peterbilt 379 long nose. That was like the base. I did not want anything really but a long nose Pete. And then when we started looking into the engines, that kind of dived into the Cat engines. Have a lot of aftermarket support. They have a lot of trucks out there that are making power. And again, these are all my opinions that I've based. I'm not an expert on the heavy duty side by any means. If I kind of mess things up, I'm not saying I know everything. But anyway, Cats have a lot of aftermarket support, especially on the electronic side. They make power very easily. So started diving in, started learning about the Cat engine background. So kind of one of the most sought after engines is right before they went to the twin turbo Acert engines. They started kind of getting all of the emission stuff on there, kind of adding a whole bunch of electronics to them to kind of monitor all that stuff. So right before that, they had what was called a 6NZ, and that's kind of the first part of the serial number of the engine right before they went to a lot of the emission stuff. These engines are known for being beefier, making more power, just a lot of really great positives about almost like in the Dodge Cummins world, it is like the 0659, like the last year of the 59. This is kind of a similar, so that's what this truck has. This truck has a 6NZ Cat engine. One of the major reasons why we really were searching after this, because we really wanted to kind of do a lot of performance stuff to it and make a whole bunch of power, because ultimately this is just a kind of a toy for us, a means to kind of build this up, move maybe 2 trucks at a time. Maybe we need to upgrade our deck over, which only does 1 truck. So something like that, and maybe do some side work obviously with it maybe, but it is not I'm not a truck driver. I do have a CDL, but this truck is not going to be kind of going to work full time. So anyway, we were kind of looking for really like an electronic engine, a 6NZ. This is one of the main reasons we jumped on this one, was because of that. Other than that, our price range was not really all that high. And when you kind of talk about those year Cats, they go for a lot of money, especially when you add in a 379 long nose. This is a 2003 year truck, so this is still not a very old truck by any means. So that was really kind of what we were looking for. We were looking for more of a project than we were a complete running driving truck. But this is a running driving truck with obviously the whole battery deal. It's got really old batteries in it. Some of the wiring is kind of which we're going to go through and change anyway. I've talked to a couple guys of you guys that have already watched, and somebody even said like these guys have parasitic draws, so put a battery kill on them. So it needs new batteries, needs a couple things. But other than that, we went up to go check it out in West Virginia yesterday. Got back late last night. There's some deer over there in the field. But we got back late last night. Anyway, you know what, before we lose our light, let's just kind of do a general walk around of this thing, and then we'll talk a little bit more. So let me tell you guys a little bit about the truck. And again, this video is going to be a little bit more talking until we start working on it, but I want to get you guys kind of hooked on the story of the truck, the plans of the truck, and this is just a general overview of the start of where this truck is going to start here. So before the sun goes down, well, it kind of already is, this paint on this truck is actually very dirty, but it looks like, if you guys know the second gen color, this thing needs to be buffed, but it's got some flake in it, and it kind of almost resembles the second gen Dodge paint that we just ended up painting. So Mark was just over here, our good buddy Mark. We actually kind of determined that the top of this cab has actually been changed to like the studio style top. So it had a flat top on it, which we are 100% going to be changing back to. We are going for a lower profile. This Unibilt sleeper is going to be taken off, going to be for sale. It's actually still in really, really great shape, but doesn't fit the style of what we're going to be doing with the truck. This truck is really going to go from a work vibe to a more show and tow vibe. You know, like the tanks are up underneath the doors, where normally they're a little bit further back. You know, the battery boxes, the air tanks are kind of right up underneath here. So we're going to be changing that all around and kind of dolling this thing up, getting this thing really, really nice. So we are going to probably put a small bunk on the back. Now I know that's kind of personal preference, whether you really like the day cab really stretch look, or you like a small bunk kind of look. This is a 272 wheelbase truck, 355 gears in it, which we found out when we got there. What else? So I said, yeah, the sleeper is going to come off. It actually has, you know, a working headache rack, which is going to be coming off as well. Air leaf suspension, not a low air leaf, but a air leaf suspension. Has 22s. What are these? These are 275/80 22 5s in the back. Needs a good polish, deadly bad. It does have 24 5s in the front. It does need some steer tires here very, very soon, but let's go ahead, let's pop the hood on this baby and show you guys the heart of this beast. And really, I mean, when I saw this thing pop up, it wasn't up for more than a day and a half before we decided to jump on it. I was kind of, I mean, do I really want to jump into this? But I was like, on the other hand, if I don't, we've been looking for so long. We decided to jump on it, and then we got there, and the people who had owned this previously, the ad listed like good, great running truck, ready to work. I kind of almost just assumed that it was a working truck. Got there, asked them kind of the background, and like, hey, were you guys using this last week or whatever? Oh no, this thing hasn't worked full time for 4 or 5 years. It kind of just been sitting around. I'm like, oh great, we have 8 hours home. We should probably check over this thing. But it ended up working out. We made it home, no problems. We just kind of left the truck running. We didn't want to run into having the batteries die on us. But here it is, guys, 6NZ Cat. We actually know for a fact that it has been set on, I think like a 430, 450 horsepower tune. This thing hasn't even been re-rated up to, I don't know what the max is, 550, 600. I know they have like a bigger tune that you can run. So really, I don't think, we checked everything engine-wise. You guys know my good buddy Jake from NJDRP came with me. He runs and owns a shop, really knows these things inside and out. We checked the blow-by, checked all of the signs that, kind of tell this thing does have 700,000 on it. It's pretty much right on the dot, 704. Only things that have been done recently were a new radiator and an oil cooler on the other side, but this thing is the last of the single turbo engine years, and after that they kind of went to the twin turbo Acert roughly right after this kind of era, roughly. So, but other than that, guys, that is the engine. I'm not sure what else to kind of say about that. That is the engine platform we're going to be working with, and yes, we are definitely going to be changing parts aftermarket and hopping this thing up. This thing did come with a pretty sweet flame grill. Let me show it to you guys. Oh yeah, that baby was on the front. That was the first thing that was gonna go. So you guys know me. When I saw this thing pop up, it said 6NZ, and it was already black. I was like, I think this thing was made for us. Interior wise, okay, so let's go over. This is the kicker, and this is some of the reason why it was even remotely in my price range, which wasn't a ton. And we kind of, this was a kind of a deal. If I would have waited another 5-6 hours, I bet you this thing would have been gone. But it has a Eaton 10-speed Ultra Shift. Now, for those of you guys who know what that is, it's a gosh dang automatic transmission, but it is like a manual automatic. So it has the 10-speed that would come in any manual, but on the top shift plate, it has solenoids that do the shifting for you. Now, this truck does have a clutch pedal. You still use the clutch to stop and start, but it is an automatic. But in my plans to kind of go through everything on this thing, here's my plan with the 10-speed that's in there. Number one, Jake and Mark are both checking into, they're fairly certain these things can be converted back to the man pedal, the man shift, the cowboy truck. Because right now, you cannot drive. I mean, who in their right mind orders a Peterbilt 379 long nose with an automatic? Ain't no cowboy ordering no automatic, but we're gonna convert it back. They are both fairly confident we can order the parts, get it converted back to a normal 10-speed for now. I just wanna get the 10-speed back in there so I don't feel like complete Sally driving an automatic. But we're gonna convert it back to a 10-speed, and then ultimately we are going to swap in 13, 15, 18 speed. So if you guys have one of those laying around in your backyard, you want me to come pick it up, I'd be more than happy to put a real transmission in this thing, because that's what it deserves and that's what it's gonna get. We're gonna be putting a new clutch in it. Again, we're gonna be going through this thing. So the way it sits right now is really just me documenting exactly what it looks like right now, because boy is it going to change. So anyway, let's show you the interior. Really clean. No non-smoker. Let's try and turn the light on in here because we're losing all of our light. But here is the interior, and I really want to change all of the dash cluster as well. This is the box here that controls all of the shifting and the computer that's on the transmission. You know, Jake brakes right here. Black interior. Back in here, not that you guys can probably see, it is extremely clean. You know when you like buy a used vehicle and you kind of like feel a little kind of when you drive it home, you don't really feel like, until you get it cleaned out, really cleaned up and kind of change a couple things, it doesn't even really feel like yours. This truck didn't really feel like that. It is extremely clean on the inside. Already got the hole in the floor. It does have a different seat, legacy seat in there, not the other one, but again, we're probably gonna go ahead and change everything on the interior too. Some of the differences that I did notice in some of the other pictures, it looked like some trucks have the air brake and stuff, they have that up here, and then the heater controls are down here. I'm not sure if that is an easy change as well. And again, I want you guys in the comments, and guys that have been doing this, rebuilding trucks, I'm sure a lot of you guys out there know a lot of this stuff. And again, if I say anything wrong, please forgive me. This is gonna be, obviously this is my first ever truck. I wanna try and change some of this stuff. If you guys have any recommendations, companies that are really great to work with on any of this stuff, go ahead, leave them below, tag me in their stuff, whatever you guys wanna do. I wanna try and dive in and learn about these things like I know the pickup trucks, the Dodge pickup trucks. So, probably saying a lot, apologize about that. But, again, let's just, all right, let's stand back here. This is another main reason why I really like this truck. So, if you look at the wheelbase on this thing, and you go ahead and delete, I'll give her the, if you delete about that much from the cab equation, it's gonna have a pretty good stretch once we kind of reconfigure the fuel tank, move the battery boxes up, you know, have the fuel tank stop about here, put a small bunk on it, it is going to look good. It's still going to look like it has a good stretch on it. It's not a 280 wheelbase, but it is pretty close. And I can't be picky when we were paying what we were paying. So again, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with the lights. A lot of the lights on here, the wiring is really kind of I'd like to get the front down. Give me your guys' opinion on this. So it's got the 24s on the front, and again, this is not going to be an everyday highway runner. Keep that in mind when I'm making my what I would like to see. So if you look at this truck over here, let's go take a look at this. So this truck up here, these front wheels and tires, these are kind of what you see on a lot of dump trucks, kind of a big, beefy, meaty tire. You know, it's kind of got a little bit of you know, poking out a little bit right there. And I know they have kind of like in betweens. These are kind of like super big. Those are really thin because they're a highway runner. These are, what are they? I think they're 385. Yeah, 385 65 22 5s. I would like to do something different on the front of this truck. I would like to try and lower the front down, get a little bit more of a aggressive look on the front, even though it is kind of like a tractor, not a dump. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any more questions, leave them down in the comments. But again, I am really excited to dive into this thing, learn all there is to know about everything, and start rebuilding this thing. We're gonna do kind of like the same thing we do on all of the trucks here. We are going to document everything along the way, from the roof swap to the cab swap to all of the engine work to taking it to get it dynoed. And it is just going to be a really exciting journey. So this will be mixed in with all of the rest of the content on the pickup trucks. I'm probably just going to honestly label the series kind of one thing and then just keep adding to that. And we're gonna do this in a series, so it'll be real easy to follow along for you guys if you guys don't really like the Cummins engine stuff and all the Dodge trucks that we rebuild here. But if you do, stay tuned. I mean, these trucks are really cool. The Cat engine in this truck, I swear I've been learning on, you know, how to run the overhead on these things, adjust everything. They are in a lot of ways really similar to the inline Cummins engine. So you know, like changing injectors, the cam's a little bit different, but like, you know, the valve lash procedure, it's kind of almost the same. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'm actually gonna try and start this thing up again because I mean, I gotta get this thing started, you know. It doesn't sound, I mean, the exhaust needs work, so it doesn't sound like probably as good as this truck behind me, but I'd really love to get it started for you guys. So I'm gonna try and jump back on and doing that, and I think that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Again, there's a little bit more talking just to get the intro done of the truck out of the way so you guys know everything about it. The guys that were using it before me were kind of doing some type of drilling service in West Virginia. Before that, they kind of had it. They said they weren't really using it. It was kind of like a backup truck that they really didn't use a lot. Before that, I don't really know. Obviously, the owner who before them was probably the one who put the sleeper on it, but it's in good hands now, and it is gonna make quite the transformation. So stay tuned. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button before you leave, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Haha, yes! We did it! Look at that oil pressure, baby. Woohoo! Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get rid of that crappy exhaust restriction right there.